We're in downtown Dallas. Right here is where John F. Kennedy was shot in 1963. Right next to me is the book depository building where Lee Harvey Oswald supposedly took the famous shot that killed Kennedy. Now, I don't believe that story at all, but that's for a different time. Anytime I'm in Dallas, I like to stop by and pay homage to the spot where JF Kennedy was murdered. And what we're going to do now is take all of my Irish American audience on a little mini tour of the JFK assassination place. So this is the famous book depository building, and right up there on the 6th floor is where supposedly Lee Harvey Oswald took the fatal shot that killed Kennedy. Science, evidence, forensics, and investigation proves that that did not happen. More than likely, right over here from this building is where a shot probably took place. This area right here, where the traffic's going into, is called Dealey Plaza. Straight ahead is Houston Street, and that is where Kennedy's motorcade, the presidential motorcade, had came up. It came up Main Street, further on down, went up this street, which is Main Street, and would turn here on Elm Street into Dealey Plaza. So right through here is where the famous turn from the presidential motorcade would go right down here, and there's actually an X in the road where I'm going to show in just a moment where the bullet that actually hit Kennedy from behind, the exact spot. Now, I don't know if you can see it through the trees, but you count up 6 stories, you can see right below the top windows, the square windows, is kind of a half circle window, an oval window. It's the second window over right here in the middle. That right there, that window right there is where supposedly Lee Harvey Oswald had his old Italian bolt action rifle and fired off the shots at Kennedy's motorcade. So anyways, as the turn happens, the motorcade came through here, and right in the road right there, there is an X. That X is where the last shot that hit Kennedy, that took his life. And if you ever see the old videos, they speed down there through the tunnel and off to Parkland Hospital. Now this over here is Dealey Plaza, and here's some more of the structures around Dealey Plaza. Now, most people believe that Kennedy's assassin or assassins did not take the shot from the book depository building. Here's the last X. Actually, I told you all wrong. The first X was the first shot, and then these last 2 X's were the last 2 shots that hit the presidential motorcade. So if you ever saw the Zapata film, you'll notice that it's being filmed from the other direction, and Kennedy's car comes through here. That X on up is the first shot that hit the president, and then right there, 2 more shots hit the motorcade. So right over here is this grassy knoll, this little hill area. This is probably where the true assassins of John F. Kennedy were sitting or standing along that fence line. Many witnesses smelled gunpowder and heard gunshots from this area. Also, law enforcement say where these railroad tracks are, there was a few men running from the scene. Here's a little plaque that talks about the grassy knoll. But behind us, we can see the book depository building. The tree now is so tall that you can't see the window that Lee Harvey Oswald supposedly used. If we come up here, up these steps, you're going to be able to see it. And so you have the top row of windows. Right below that are these little half-circle windows. And I will point to that one right there next to my finger. And the second row is that last half-circle window. That is where Lee Harvey Oswald was situated when he took his infamous shot, if he did. And right down there you can see the X right on the other side of that scooter where the fatal shot was taken. So there you have it. The book depository building where Lee Harvey Oswald supposedly took his shots with a cheap Italian rifle, hit the president. It would have traveled from that window, the bullet would have went right to that first X. That's the one that went through JFK's throat. And then there's two more shots. One goes through Governor Connolly, of the Texas governor's thigh. And then the last shot would ring through and hit Kennedy in the head. Ultimately the one that would take his life. Now let's go over here. This is the more interesting thing, because I think the book depository building over there, and in all of its fame, I don't think it's really the real deal. I think if we look over here, this area right here is called the grassy knoll. And there was a fence just like this fence back in 1963. And this little hilly area right here. And so as you come around through here, these trees would have been a lot smaller at the time. But if you look through here, you'll notice from this knoll, you can perfectly see both X's and then the X further on. This would have been a perfect shot for all the conspiracy theorists that believe that the shots came from the grassy knoll. And according to the witnesses, no one thought the shots came from the book depository building. They all thought they came from the grassy knoll. There's also another theory, is in, you see the book depository building to the left right here, right? This next building right there actually has a much better angle at where the motorcade would be coming. They would also have a clear view of, over there by the old courthouse, they would have a clear view of the motorcade coming down toward the book depository building before taking that hard left and going down Main Street. So we're going to enter Dealey Plaza, and in 1963 there would be a lot of spectators on this side of the grass. Lots of spectators. In all the famous pictures, you'll see people falling down and covering themselves up. It'd be right along this area right here, and then across the street. That whole area right there is where you get most of your famous pictures. The plaque in remembrance of John Kennedy. Snake our way back around here. I have one more interesting thing about this area where John F. Kennedy was shot, and it's what really people leave off the books is this train yard back here. See where the railway comes through? A lot of activity that day with men scampering, getting in vehicles and driving off. So there you have it. This is the infamous Dealey Plaza where John F. Kennedy was brutally assassinated. We'll get another angle from it right here. This right here, as you can see barely, is the first shot that hit the presidential motorcade. This is the shot that went through Kennedy's neck that no one actually had realized that he was shot this time. By the time the car got to right here, there'd be 2 more shots that hit the motorcade. One would be the fatal one that would hit Kennedy and shooting through the front of the head, and then another shot that would hit the governor that was sitting in the front seat with him. So picture this, 1963, JF Kennedy's presidential motorcade through a parade downtown Dallas makes the fatal turn, and within seconds, bam, a shot there, bam, bam, 2 more shots. Then the motorcade would speed through the tunnel down there and would head to Parkland Hospital. As I said, I don't believe that Lee Harvey Oswald was the shooter. If he was, he wasn't the only shooter. And here's my question to you, is if you look up there where Lee Harvey Oswald was perched, okay? Now why would he wait for the presidential car to make a turn? He had a complete head-on shot of JFK coming from this direction before they made this turn. Heck, he could have even taken the shot in the curve with a much higher probability of making the shot instead of trying to pull off a shot at that distance. So, I would think that if I was taking a shot as an assassin from the top of this building, my shots would have came out when the motorcade was coming straight down Houston Street, or right here when it made its turn. A more plausible action where the bullets make a perfect lineup is from the second story from the top, or the second window from the top. That one has a complete, accurate view down Elm Street where Kennedy was hit. It was also pictures floating around that day that there was a few suspicious men in those windows right there where the angle matches up. So in my opinion, the grassy knoll, which is toward the railroad, there was probably a shooter there because Kennedy was hit from the front and from the back. Grassy knoll, and this building right here. Here's a little plaque. What I like about this plaque is that, look what this plaque says. On November 22nd, 1963, the building gained national notoriety when Lee Harvey Oswald allegedly shot and killed the president, right, from the 6th floor window as the motorcade passed. Allegedly. The official government story is they do not know for sure if Lee Harvey Oswald killed the president. Probably a shot from there, and a shot from the knoll probably is what happened. Doesn't matter though, John F. Kennedy was a great man, a great Irishman, and part of America died when Kennedy was shot. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Had to come through it real quick. I'm on a time schedule, but if you're ever in downtown Dallas, it's worth taking a venture out. Come down to Dealey Plaza, walk up and down Houston Street, Elm Street, and check it out where our beloved John F. Kennedy was shot on 1963. Until next time.